In this video, we're going to be focusing on the hips, hip flexors, and quadriceps. And many of you may have tight hips due to sitting at a desk all day or driving a car. So in this video, we're going to focus on poses and stretches to open up the hips. So let's get started. Let's move into our first pose, starting in tabletop. So again, coming down into tabletop, making sure you have a great foundation, shoulders are stacked above wrists, hips are stacked above knees, nice long spine. So here you can tuck your back left toes, engage your core as we extend our right leg out long behind us, making sure that your right heel is in line with your right hip, tucking your right hip down. Good, take a big inhale. And when you're ready, exhale, slowly begin to sweep your right foot out to the side for a little ninja kick. Good, inhale, pull back to center. Exhale, sweep out, open wide. Beautiful, inhale, pull back to center. One more, exhale, sweep out, open even wider, giving love to the hip girdle. Good, inhale, come back to center. And exhale, come back down to tabletop. Adjust your foundation if need be. This time, tuck your back right toes, and when you're ready on an inhale, extend your left leg long behind you. Bring your left heel up in line with your left hip. Toes are flexed, pointed down to the mat. Good, engage the core, take a big inhale together. And exhale, sweep your left foot out open wide, ninja kick on the opposite side. Good, inhale, pull back to center. Exhale, sweep out open. Good, one more, inhale, pull back to center. And exhale, sweep out, open even wider, opening up that left hip girdle. Good. Inhale, pull back to center. And exhale, come back down to tabletop. Beautiful. Moving into our next pose. When you're ready, tuck your toes and send your hips high, downward facing dog. So again, in down dog, you're pushing the earth away with your hands. Sending your shoulders down the back away from your ears, sending your sit bones higher to the sky. So when you're ready, we're slowly going to begin to shift the weight into your right foot, the right ball of your foot. As you inhale, sweep your left leg high behind you for three-legged down dog. So it doesn't matter how high you get your left leg in downward facing dog, just making sure that your hips are squared, so tucking your left hip down. Good, and then when you're ready, slowly begin to bring a bend into your left knee. And then if it feels good, begin to roll your left hip over your right for twisted down dog. Beautiful. Stay here and breathe, opening up your left hip. And if you want a little bit more, you can slowly begin to form circles with your left knee. Good. Really adding that mobility into the left hip joint. Beautiful. Stay here for one more full belly breath. And changing the direction of the circles of your left knee. Good. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to extend your left leg high to the sky, re-squaring your hips. And exhale back to downward facing dog. Good, stay here for one full belly breath, adjusting your stance if need be. And when you're ready, slowly begin to shift your weight into the ball of your left foot. Inhale, right leg sweeps high to the sky, three-legged down dog. Good, bring a bend into your right knee. Stay here. If you want a little bit more, slowly begin to roll your right hip over your left. Good, twist and down dog on the right side. Stacking your right hip over your left, stay here and breathe. Or as we did on the other side, slowly begin to form circles with your right knee. Good, opening up the hip girdle on the right side. Beautiful, and then you can switch your circles if you'd like, going the opposite direction. Beautiful, when you're ready, slowly begin to straighten your right leg behind you. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Beautiful. Moving into our next pose, shift forward to high plank pose. And then slowly begin to come down onto your knees. Moving into our next pose, make your way to the top of your mat. We're setting up for star pose. So I just like to sweep my right leg, bring your feet so that they're about 4 to 5 feet apart, whatever feels comfortable for you. And setting up for star pose. So we're going to shift our feet so that they're about 45-degree angle. Standing up nice and tall, tucking your tailbone in, keeping your shoulders down the back. Good. Inhale, hand sweep up to the sky. And exhale, slowly begin to sink into goddess pose. Elbows can come in close to the side body. You can bring hands to heart center to practice our prayer pose as we did in the wrist video. Good, sway side to side. Really feel this pose in your quadriceps and your hip flexors. So this pose is really great at creating heat in the body and also helps with our circulation. So we can stay here for 2 more full belly breaths or as long as you'd like, sinking just a little bit deeper into the pose. Good, really feeling those quadriceps and glutes engage. Beautiful, one more big full belly inhale. Exhale, sink just a little bit deeper. Good, on your next inhale, shoot back up into star pose. And exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Good, setting up for our next pose, coming down to the mat. So making your way down onto your sit bones. Setting up for our staff pose. So rooting your sit bones into the mat. Good, lengthening your spine, sitting up nice and tall. Both toes are flexed, feet are active. So we're setting up for another hip opener. This is one of my favorites. So bring a bend into your right knee, and then when you're ready, slowly begin to grab either your right foot or your right ankle. So there's different variations of this pose. Whatever works best for you, you can stay here if you're really feeling this in the right hip, or you can slowly begin to rock your foot, your shin side to side. I like to really cradle my leg, so I like to bring my foot into the crease of my left elbow, and then the knee into the crease of the right elbow, clasping my hands together. Good, sitting up nice and tall, keeping your spine long, and just rock the knee side to side, opening up the right hip girdle. And you can stay here for as many breaths as you'd like. Good, and it's okay if you just want to rock it a little bit side to side. In time, you'll form more mobility in the right hip girdle and be able to rock your shin just a little bit deeper. Good, stay here for one more full belly breath. And then on your next exhale, you can release. Straighten your right leg, give your legs a shake, setting up for the other side. So bring a bend into your left knee. Again, grabbing the bottom of your foot with both hands or your ankle. Just setting up as you slowly begin to rock side to side, opening up the left hip girdle. Good, and if you want a little bit more, we can cradle the shin or your leg like we did before. So bringing your left foot on the inside of the crease of your right elbow, and then bringing your left knee on the inside crease of your left elbow, forming a clasp with your hands, binding your hands together. And keep sitting up nice and tall, keep the shoulders down the back as you rock your left leg side to side to open up your left hip. Good, staying here for 2 more full belly breaths. Make sure that your right toes stay flexed and you're anchoring your right heel into the mat to help with stability. Good, one more inhale. And then when you're ready, exhale to release. Lengthen your left leg long, give your legs a shake. Moving into our next pose, sweep your knees out from underneath you, come back to tabletop. So we're setting up for our low lunge pose and then going into lizard's pose. So when you're ready, bring your right foot between your hands and then walk your toes up just a little bit. So for our low lunge pose, again, remember to square your hips, send your right hip back, left hip forward, and then slowly begin to bring your right palm on the inside of your right foot and heel toe your right foot to the outer edge of your mat. Good. If you're really feeling it in your hips here, just stay here and breathe. Or if you want to take it a bit deeper, begin to inch your left knee back just a little bit, allowing your hips to sink deeper into this pose. Good. There's so many different variations of lizard's pose, so we're going to break it down piece by piece. If you want a little bit more and want to go deeper into the hips, you can slowly begin to come down onto your forearms. Good. You'll notice that your right knee may tend to sway out to the side. That's fine if you want a different opening of the hip girdle, but if you want, you can squeeze your right knee in close to your side body and you'll feel a different opening of your hip. Good. You can also keep your toes pointed towards the mat, or you can shift your toes to point to the outside of the mat and really feel the different opening on this variation as well. So just try different variations to see what feels best in your hip. And then if you want to take it even deeper to turn this into a quad stretch, you can bring a bend into your left knee. Slowly begin to sweep your right hand back, catching the top of your left toes, forming a little bind. Good. Pushing your foot into your hand into your foot, rolling your right shoulder open. And to deepen the quad stretch on the left side, slowly begin to pull your left heel toward your left sit bone. Good. Breathing into this pose. Again, you can allow your right knee to splay out to the side, or you can pull your right knee in. Again, this is your own personal practice, so whatever feels best on your hips. Good. Whatever lizard pose variation you're in, stay here for one more full belly breath. When you're ready, on your next exhale, slowly begin to release if you took the bind, if you took the quad stretch. If you're on your forearms, slowly begin to come up onto your palms. Good. Just stay here for a second, breathing into your hips. And then when you're ready, slowly begin to make your way back to tabletop. Good. Readjusting your tabletop foundation if need be. When you're ready, begin to bring your left foot in between your palms. Again, in low lunge pose, squaring your hips, sending your left hip back, right hip forward. Just inching your left toes a little bit closer to the top of the mat. Beautiful. And then sinking deeper into your hips, setting up for lizard's pose on this side. So again, taking any variation that feels best in your body, you can stay here and breathe, just focusing on sinking your hips deeper towards the mat. So from low lunge pose, setting up for lizard's pose on the left side, bring your left palm on the inside of your left foot and slowly begin to heel toe your left foot to the outer edge of your mat. Good. Slowly beginning to sink deeper into your hips. And you can stay here if you want to deepen lizard's pose. Slowly begin to sink your hips deeper towards the mat as you begin to come down onto your forearms. Good. Breathing here. Again, taking any leg variation on the left side that feels best in your left hip girdle. You can allow your knee to splay out to the side, coming onto the edge of the left foot, or hugging your left knee in close to the side body as you allow your left toes to point out to the side a little bit. So just play with that to feel the different variations in your left hip girdle. Good. And then if you want to take this even deeper, turning this into a quad stretch, bring a bend into your right knee. And then when you're ready, sweep your left hand around, catching the top of your right foot. Beautiful. Staying here, or to deepen the quad stretch on the right side, slowly begin to pull your right heel towards your right sit bone. Good. Feeling the opening of the right quadricep. Beautiful. Whatever variation you're in, staying here for one more full belly breath. Good. Good job, yogis. If you took the bind, slowly begin to release. Extend your right leg straight. If you're down on your forearms, slowly begin to come up onto your palms. And then again, just stay here for a breath. Just settling into your pose before we release, coming back to tabletop. So setting up for our next pose, let's start in Prasarita. So coming up to standing. Bring your feet wide, feet are parallel to the edges of the mat. Bring your hands to your hips. Take an inhale, lengthen your spine, stand up nice and tall. And then exhale as you slowly begin to hinge forward, hinging from the hips. Good. Release your hands down to the mat. Inhale, come up, halfway lift, flat back. Good. So we're going to move on to Skandasana. So let's Skandasana to the right. Bring a bend into our right knee. Left leg extends out long to the side. So you're coming up onto the heel of your left foot. Left toes are flexed, pointed up to the sky. You have the option in Skandasana to either come up onto the ball of your right foot or come down onto your heel. But notice how my hips shift when I come up onto the ball of my foot and then come down onto my heel. Completely up to you, as this is your own personal yoga practice, so just do what feels best. I like to come up onto the ball of my foot because it feels better in my own hips. Good. So just staying here and breathing, having a nice long spine. Good. Take one more big inhale. And then exhale, you're going to use your hands to walk yourself to the other side, releasing your left toes down, setting up for Skandasana on the left side. Bring a bend into your left knee. Right leg extends long to the side of you, coming up onto the heel of your right foot. Right toes are flexed, pointed up to the sky. Again, on the left side, either ball of your foot is up or coming down onto your left heel. Again, whatever feels best for you and your own hips. And then lengthen your spine, sit up nice and tall, engage your core. Good, take another big inhale. And exhale as we flow to the right, taking your time getting there. And if you want to turn this into a balanced pose, you can engage your core, lengthen your spine, find your drishti, find your focal point. Slowly begin to bring hands to heart center. Good, take a big inhale. And then exhale, either walk your hands across the mat or keep hands at heart center to flow to the left. Good, we'll do that one more time. Take an inhale. And exhale to flow to the right. Beautiful. So know that you can flow through the Skandasana flow as many times as what feels best in your hips and in your own body. So coming back to center, coming back into Prasarita pose with our halfway lift, we're going to come to the top of our mat. So just step yourself up to the top of the mat and then come down to a seated pose. So keeping your knees bent in front of you, spine is long. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, slowly begin to lower down one vertebrae at a time. Setting up for our next pose, our reclined figure 4 pose. This is an amazing hip opener. So you can have your arms down next to your side body. Keeping a bend in your left knee, we're going to slowly stack your right ankle right above your left knee. You don't want your ankle on your knee. You want it right above your left knee. Good. So you can just stay here and breathe if this feels great in your right hip. If you want a little bit more, begin to pull your left knee closer to your chest. And then interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. Good. Pulling your left knee in even closer. Beautiful. So left toes are flexed, pointed up to the sky. Your left shin is parallel to the mat. You can stay here and breathe into your hips, or if you want just a little bit more, you can use your right palm to push your right knee away as you pull your left knee in closer. And you have the option of staying here and breathing, or you can slowly rock side to side as you open up your hips just a little bit more. And again, stay here for as many breaths as you'd like. But on our next exhale, we're going to switch. Good. Bringing a bend into your right knee. And then hooking your left ankle right above your right knee. Beautiful. Again, if you want to, you can stay here and just breathe, sending your breath down to your left hip. Or like we did before, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Good. Both toes are flexed, feet are active, and right shin is parallel to the mat. Slowly pulling your right knee closer to your chest to give love to your hips. And again, adding on another variation if you want to on this side, you can release your left hand. Use your left palm to push your left knee away as you pull your right knee in closer. Good. Breathing into our reclined figure 4 pose. Again, stay here if you want to rock side to side, if that feels good in your hips. Please invite that in.